While that wealthy upper-class heiress was taking a shower, I secretly slipped under her covers. But I never expected she would mistake me for some blind, reckless idiot trying to take advantage of her. So she immediately ordered her bodyguards to throw me out along with the quilt. I was just about to crawl out to explain when the bodyguards had already started roughly yanking the quilt. I rolled right off the bed onto the floor. "Hurry up and throw him out. What are you waiting for?" I held onto the bed and stood up. "Third miss, you're really throwing me out? You don't want me anymore?" When Manga saw it was me, she froze completely in an instant. She almost threw her most precious person away. She took a deep breath and walked over to me under my confused, questioning gaze and pulled me into a tight hug. Pressing her little face firmly against my chest, she said to everyone else in the bedroom, "All of you get out." Steward Zhang and all the bodyguards hurried out immediately. "Did you really want to throw me out just now? I heard every word you said." Manga rubbed my waist gently, her cheeks flushing slightly. "Of course I didn't know it was you lying there just now." "Oh, so my Jiao Jiao is already sick of me." "You don't even need to kick me out. I'll leave on my own." Mengzhou tightened her arms around me immediately, as she held onto my waist. "Who said I don't want you anymore?" I knew perfectly well in my heart she'd worship me like an ancestor if she could. There's no way she would ever let me go. "Baby, I'm sorry, okay? What are you even doing in my room?" I knew exactly what Mengzhou was thinking. After all, I used to hate her so much before. I always purposely avoided walking anywhere near her bedroom. No wonder she was so sure just now that the man in her bed definitely wasn't me. "Because your scent is all over this room, Jiao Jiao. And of course, there's a way more important reason. That is, I want to sleep with you." Mengzhou just stood there rooted to the spot, staring straight into my eyes. "Jiao Jiao, can I sleep here with you tonight?" Mengzhou froze for a split second, then stammered awkwardly, "Go back to your own room to sleep. If Chen can just come whenever he wants and sleep here whenever he feels like it, won't that make me look like I have no dignity at all?" Even though she said that out loud, she had no intention of making me leave at all. Instead, she walked over and locked the door from the inside. I rested my chin on my hand and looked at her sideways, trying my best to put on a poor, pitiful look. But I get nightmares when I sleep alone. Mengzhou finally gave in the end. She gave me a helpless, resigned look, grabbed a pillow from the closet and tossed it on the bed. I sighed quietly to myself in my head. In my past life, I didn't understand what obsessive love was. I trusted a cheating scumbag girl and a backstabbing friend. Only after I died did I see Third Miss Meng, who treated me like treasure, kneeling in front of my grave, sobbing her heart out. Luckily, I was reborn, and now I just want to have kids with the woman right in front of me. I laid down on the bed quickly. The second Mengzhou got into bed, I pulled her tight into my arms. I could feel her body go stiff immediately. She was completely shocked. She must be thinking that I'm hugging her on my own this time, not to beg her for favors for another woman, nor throwing a fit to leave her. I could feel her look up at me, while my consciousness slowly started to fade. My breathing evened out gradually. I unconsciously hugged the woman in my arms even tighter. Mengzhou's little hand was still fisting the hem of my shirt tightly. She stared at me for a really long time. Not long after, my body started trembling. I dreamed of my own funeral again. I dreamed of that woman sitting in a wheelchair, who went completely crazy for me after I died. My forehead was covered in cold sweat. Her eyes were filled with distress and worry. She reached out and said, "Achin, don't be scared, I'm here." She pressed a soft kiss to the corner of my mouth, and I felt an unexplainable sense of peace, and fell asleep quickly. Early the next morning, Mengzhou was still asleep. I got out of bed and started telling the servants to move all my belongings from my room, all into Third Miss's room. If I'm gonna spoil my wife properly, we obviously have to sleep in the same room. What kind of couple sleeps in separate rooms anyway? After Steward Zhang heard what I said, he looked super awkward and hesitant. I knew he must be scared I would hurt their Third Miss. If they move in together? Young Master Chen used to make Third Miss so angry she ended up in hospital all the time. If they live under the same roof now, who knows what kind of chaos will happen? Not to mention Third Miss has hidden health issues. She has severe bipolar disorder. The last time she had an episode, several bodyguards ended up either dead or seriously injured. Steward Zhang could only sigh helplessly and run to ask Meng Jiao for her decision. The woman just woke up and hadn't figured out what was going on yet. But when she heard I wanted to move in, she spoke immediately. Chen, if he wants to move, help him with it. Don't let him hurt his hands. Just the thought of Chen living with her made Meng Jiao so excited she could barely hide it, like a hunter who finally got the prey that walked right into the trap. In her eyes, I was the one who showed up at her door voluntarily. Housekeeper Zhang was just about to persuade her, when the woman said firmly, "A Chen won't do that." I stayed at home alone, thinking about what I should do next. Right at that moment, the Lu family called me. I frowned. Lucha's voice was full of impatience. He didn't care about me, his so-called son, at all. "Lin Chen, get Yi Bai out right now." My poor Yi Bai. I have no idea how he's doing now. It's all Lin Chen's fault, that jinx. The precious son he was talking about is Lu Yi Bai, the heir to the Lu family's entire fortune. And me? I'm the Lu family's adopted son. It sounds nice to call me an adopted son, but actually I was treated worse than a servant. Just a few months ago, Lu Che's business failed, and he actually tried to sell me to an over 8-year-old woman with urinary and fecal incontinence in exchange for benefits. It was Meng Jiao who brought me back to Mid-Level's villa. You want me to save Lu Yi Bai? Sure I could, but too bad. Third, Miss won't listen to me. What am I supposed to do now? In my past life, Lu Yi Bai personally killed me in a car accident, and they expect me to save Lu Yi Bai? I wish he'd drop dead right now. Shang Wan's roar came from the other end of the phone. I don't care, even if you have to kneel and kiss Meng Jiao's feet. You must get Yi Bai out. Lin Chen, don't you forget. Yi Bai can't come home because of you. How could I forget? It was Lu Yi Bai who framed me. And hurt Meng Jiao too. He even pretended to help me run away, only for us to get caught by Meng Jiao. Meng Jie was completely furious and immediately arrested Lu Yi Bai and that bitch Jiang Jiang and tortured them badly. Lin Chen, find a way to get Yi Bai home right now. You hear me? Listening to that arrogant bossy tone, I let out a cold snort. If he's so eager to die, no one can save him. Lin Chen, what do you mean by that? You have the heart to see Yi Bai suffer? You ungrateful beast. I hung up the phone directly. The corner of my mouth curled up. I will never let Lu Yi Bai off the hook. I'll make the entire Lu family pay in blood. What? That guy Lin Chen wants to share a room with you? No way, absolutely not. Third sister, don't believe a single word that man says. The only reason he's saying that is 100% to trick you. Meng Jiao's gaze grew colder and colder. Third sister, stop lying to yourself. You know how many dirty tricks Lin Chen has up his sleeve. It's not like you don't know. Gu Niannian knew perfectly well that 3 months ago, Lin Chen tried to escape through the window and got caught, and even cut Jiao Jiao's arm with a knife. And a month ago, Lin Chen caught a mouse and put it in Jiao Jiao's bedroom. During the months Lin Chen lived here, Meng Jiao spoiled Lin Chen endlessly. No matter how much Lin Chen hurt her, she would never allow anyone to lay a single finger on that man. Even last time when Lin Chen made her so angry she had an attack, her first thought was still to protect that man. Gu Niannian couldn't understand how a guy like Lin Chen deserved to be treated so well by Third Miss. Third sister, he's just using the same old trick again. He's using his looks to charm you. Once you trust him, he'll definitely dump you right away. But Meng Jiao just sat there quietly. Shut up. Gu Niannian was about to say something else when Meng Jiao shot her a sharp glare. Say one more word, and you'll be sent to Africa to work as a doctor. No matter what Chen's motive is for approaching me, as long as he's willing to get close to me, I'll give him the whole world. Back at Mid-Level's villa, I sat alone in the yard. My mind was a total mess. I waited all day and didn't see Jiao Jiao at all. I couldn't help asking housekeeper Zhang, when exactly will Third Miss come back? Third Miss will come back once she finishes her work. Hearing that vague answer, I glanced at the bodyguards outside the villa. These few people can't trap me at all. If I wanted to leave, I could go any time. In my past life, I didn't dare to leave, because I was afraid that after I left, Meng Jiao would go after the Lu family. But honestly, with my fighting skills, these 10 bodyguards combined don't stand a chance against me. I stared at the gate for a few seconds. A Bentley slowly pulled into the compound. That familiar pretty figure stepped out of the car. I broke into a huge grin immediately. I rushed straight over to her. You're back. Before Meng Jiao could react, I wrapped my arm firmly around her waist. I secretly lowered my eyes and glanced, and saw her cheeks had quietly turned pink. Ah Chen hugged me again. He even initiated it this time. That made her think of that night again. When Meng Jiao went back to the bedroom that day, I was stuck in a nightmare. The dream was set on a stormy, thundering, rainy day. At a freezing cold cemetery, Meng Jiao was kneeling painfully in front of my tombstone. I was surrounded by overwhelming fear in the dream. I had no clue. Meng Jiao was standing right by the bed watching me. Her gaze was icy cold to the bone. Her fingertips were trembling. A bitter smile tugged at the corner of her mouth. I woke up with a jolt from the fright. The first thing I saw when I opened my eyes was Meng Jiao. I hugged her tight without thinking twice, like I was clutching a lifeline. I held onto her as tight as I could. Meng Jiao's body went stiff right away. She hugged me back carefully. "Did you have a nightmare?" "Yeah, a super scary one." "Jiao Jiao, please don't leave me." "Don't be scared, Achen. Even if I have to risk everything I have, I'll keep you safe and sound no matter what. I'll never leave you, I promise." Meng Jiao gently patted my back while calming me down softly. Then she tucked me in properly. I looked at her with a fake pitiful look. "I don't dare sleep alone." "Then I'll get you a psychiatrist to come over tomorrow." I was instantly speechless. "Is it really that hard to let me hug you to sleep?" Such a clueless dumbass. Seeing that I looked a little annoyed, Meng Jiao still had no idea what she said wrong. So she said carefully, "Then I'll tell you a story and stay with you for a bit, okay?" She pulled a book off the bookshelf. It was pretty normal at first. All of them were classic illusions. But for some reason, after a while, the whole vibe of the story changed completely. A long time ago, there was a pure and kind scholar. He had no idea how evil people could be out there. He ignored his wife's advice and ended up having his legs cut off by a vixen outside. I was totally dumbfounded. What kind of weird illusion is this? I got it now. Meng Jiao did this on purpose. She just wanted to nip my plan to run away in the bud. She just wanted me to know, don't even think about leaving. Not for a single second. Disobey me and you'll lose your legs. I'm not listening. I'm not listening. I want to go to sleep. Listening to this crap will give me trauma for sure. I yanked the quilt over me and covered my head with it. Listening to these stories will definitely leave me with psychological trauma. The next day, I sat in the living room bored out of my mind, spacing out and thinking about random stuff. Suddenly a voice called out, "Brother, I finally get to see you." I looked up. Lu Yibai burst into the villa and ran straight toward me. I watched him running toward me. My gaze turned cold instantly. "We finally meet." Lu Yibai grabbed my hand immediately and started sobbing about all his grievances. "I helped you escape before, but I got caught by Miss Third's men and locked up in the dungeon. Meng Jiao is a total devil. Not only did she lock me up, she even sent people to beat Sister Jiang up badly. She's a cold-blooded snake. She can do any cruel thing imaginable." Listening to Lu Yibai chattering non-stop in my ear, I glanced at him out of the corner of my eye. Lu Yibai thought that look meant I hated Meng Jiao, so he egged me on even more. "Brother, you have no idea. Sister Jiang has been tortured so bad she barely looks human. Meng Ji is ruthless and cruel. Brother, you have to find a way to save Sister Jiang." I frowned. There was no trace of worry or anxiety on my face. "Why isn't she dead yet?" Lu Yibai froze on the spot. "Brother, what are you talking about?" "That's Sister Jiang we're talking about. How can you just watch her get locked up in the dungeon?" I stared at him thoughtfully. "You're right, I can't let that bitch off that easily. Just locking her up is far from enough." At this moment, Gunyanian outside the room was holding Meng Jiao's hand tightly and said, "Third sister, look!" Ling Chen finally showed his true colors. From where the two of them are standing, they can clearly see what's going on in the living room. He's the one who secretly let Lu Yibai out of the dungeon and let him into this villa. "I'm gonna expose Lin Chen's true colors. I told you Lin Chen has been lying to you this whole time. He's just putting on an act, just to get you to spare that shameless woman." Gunyanian had a smug look on her face, like she'd just uncovered some earth-shattering conspiracy. She was secretly rejoicing in her heart that she'd brought Third Miss here. This time she'll definitely make Third Miss see what kind of man Lin Chen really is. Meng Jiao just stood there motionless, but the aura around her kept getting colder and colder. "Is Chen really just lying to me this whole time? If I break your legs, will you stay by my side forever?" I haven't noticed the killing intent around me yet. In my past life, I had to threaten Meng Jiao with my own life before she agreed to let Lu Yibai and Jiang go. In this life, I clearly never even begged her. Yet Jiao Jiao still let Lu Yibai in. But it doesn't matter anyway, since you came here on your own. I'll never let this cheating scumbag and shameless slut off easy. Bro, as long as you let me move into the villa, once third miss falls for me, when she gets bored of me, she will naturally let you and Miss Jiang get back together. I let out a cold snort. You're such a loving, caring little brother of mine. Lu Yibai put on a righteous, self-sacrificing look. For the rest of your life, bro, this little suffering I'm going through is nothing. As long as you can run away with Sister Jiang Jiang, I'm willing to stay here and take all the pain for you. Meng Zhao in the second floor corridor looked even colder and more distant. Is A Chen trying to send another man to seduce me? She let out a cold laugh, muttering nonstop under her breath. I should have known this long ago. A Chen never cared about someone like me at all. When Lu Yibai saw I stayed silent, he spoke directly in a commanding tone. When third miss comes back, you go on a hunger strike. To force her to let me move in officially. I scoffed coldly. A hunger strike? That trick is way too cheap. Yibai. What if I just kill you right now? Then your corpse can stay here forever. Before Lu Yibai could react, I suddenly reached out and squeezed his neck hard and lifted his whole body off the ground. His legs kicked wildly, struggling as hard as he could. But that little strength of his was as laughable as an ant's to me. The surrounding servants were all stunned and dumbfounded by this scene, but none of them dared to step forward and stop me. Gunyanyan was scratching her head anxiously on the second floor corridor. Why are these two men suddenly fighting among themselves? Aren't they supposed to discuss escaping together? What made her spine tingle the most was that the killing intent in my eyes was obviously real. Mengzhou, on the other hand, was perfectly calm. There was even a playful smirk on the corner of her mouth. Just when Lu Yibai was about to suffocate, I suddenly let go of my hand. He collapsed to the ground like a pile of mud, coughing violently. But this isn't over yet. I casually picked up a pair of sharp scissors used for trimming cedar trees. Third miss hates men who run around everywhere the most. How are you going to seduce her looking like that? Let me help you out with that. As soon as I finished speaking, I gripped the scissors tightly. A sharp pain immediately shot through Lu Yibai's leg. His eyes widened in terror. He scrambled backwards while screaming shrilly. No, don't come near me! I walked towards him step by step with the scissors in my hand. Didn't you want to stay by third miss's side? Then why are you hiding? In my past life, Lu Yibai planned a fire to kill me. Meng Zhao became disabled, saving me, so she had to spend the rest of her life in a wheelchair. Just thinking about those crippled legs makes my heart hurt like it's being twisted repeatedly by a sharp knife. That's why in this life, I'm gonna cripple Lu Yibai first. To personally avenge my Jiao Jiao. All the servants in the villa were terrified out of their wits. They could only watch as Lu Yibai's leg turned into a bloody mess. Just as the whole house fell into dead silence of terror, Meng Zhao's face was cold. As she walked in through the door, "It can be good. Put the scissors down first. You might hurt yourself." I looked at the woman. My dark eyes were filled with hatred. Lu Yibai took the chance to put on a victim's act. Bro, it's my fault I didn't help you elope successfully last time. Why are you so angry and holding a grudge against me? He looked at Meng Zhao. Third miss, my brother just misses Sister Jiang Jiang too much. Please don't blame him. He just lost his mind for a second and attacked me. I stared at him with ice-cold eyes. Even though his thigh was bleeding non-stop, Lu Yibai still refused to leave and stayed rooted to the spot. After all, this is the only chance he has to mooch off the mid-levels villa, a chance to hit on Meng Zhao. He was clutching his wound. Third miss, I'm really in so much pain. Watching his disgusting act. I almost puked up last night's meal. Shut your mouth right now. Stop being a creep and hitting on our third miss. After Meng Zhao heard what I said, her body actually trembled involuntarily. Our third miss. Her watery eyes were filled with disbelief. Is he finally willing to admit out loud that I'm his? My gaze swept over Meng Zhao, and my heart skipped a beat suddenly. Oh no, I acted so violent and cruel just now. Did I totally ruin my image in front of her? I turned around nervously and pursed my lips uneasily. Jiao Jiao, I really didn't mean to do that just now. Meng Zhao's eyes were filled with overwhelming doting affection. Then tell me, Akin, what exactly happened just now? He insisted on moving into this villa and tried to make you hate me on purpose. I hate it most when someone covets what's mine. You belong to me. No one is allowed to take you away. I was like a kid guarding his most favorite toy and hugged Meng Zhao tightly. My eyes were full of paranoid possessiveness. Meng Zhao nodded seriously in response. She said wrong in an unprecedentedly firm tone. I've only ever belonged to you my whole life. I was stunned watching from the side. I thought Meng Zhao was totally stuck with me for life. No saving her. Meng Zhao ignored the mess on the ground entirely. She just pulled me and walked towards the second floor. Third miss, what do we do with the guy on the ground? Gu Niannian checked his injuries. If we don't get him treated, he might actually die. Her worried look was obviously afraid I'd get blood on my hands and get Meng Zhao into trouble. Throw him out. The woman dropped the order coldly and kept walking without looking back. Gu Niannian was speechless behind her. Meng Zhao suddenly stopped walking and looked coldly at Gu Niannian. Since you're so free, you can go stay in the morgue for a month. Gu Niannian's legs went weak from fear, and she looked totally devastated. Third sister, I'm begging you. I really don't want to guard the morgue. Zhao Zhao, why are you being so cruel to me? Meng Zhao replied expressionlessly, because you talk too much, and you're disturbing my Aken. Gu Niannian was completely dumbfounded, standing there unable to say a single word. Meng Zhao moved gently and carefully wiped the blood off my hands. Her expression was so devout, like she was handling some priceless treasure. I stared at her without blinking. Zhao Zhao, will you believe everything I say? Yes, she paused slightly and gazed at me affectionately. As long as it's something you say, I'll believe all of it. Listening to her firm answer, my heart ached badly. She believes me not because my excuses are perfect, but simply because I'm the one saying it. Meng Zhao looked at me and continued speaking gently. Achen, starting from today, you can leave mid-level villa whenever you want. I was so excited I almost jumped up. Zhao Zhao, do you really agree to let me go out? But I have one condition. A trace of unease flashed across her eyes. Obviously, she was still afraid I'd disappear forever once I leave. Name it. As long as I can get my freedom, I'll agree to any condition you have. Meng Zhao's tone suddenly turned cold. You're not allowed to go anywhere I can't find you. And you're definitely not allowed to see that shameless woman. I nodded like crazy, just like a big golden retriever. I swear I'll listen to you about everything from now on. Meng Zhao hugged my waist again. Achen, this is the last bit of courage I have to hold on. I'm begging you. Please stop trying to run away from me, okay? Her fragile look made my heart ache. I stroked the back of her head gently. I won't run away anymore. I'll stay by Zhao Zhao's side for my whole life. I let Meng Zhao rest her head on my shoulder to seek comfort. Aken, you have to behave. I'll do my best in the future to give you the best things in the world, as long as you stay by my side forever. She begged in a low voice. This wasn't the first time she begged me to behave. My head was originally full of thoughts of how to get rid of that bitch. But when I thought about Meng Zhao's rule that I can't see that woman, I had to put it off for now. Even though I'm not dealing with that bitch for now, that good-for-nothing brother of mine, I will never let him get away with what he did. Just then, Lucia's deadbeat dad called me. Li Chen, get your ass to the hospital right now. What do I need to go to the hospital for? Is someone gonna collect my dead body or what? Lucia was fuming with rage on the other end of the line. Is that how you talk to your old man? I'm your biological father for crying out loud. Look how badly you hurt Ibai. I'm ordering you to get your ass over here right now. Kneel down and apologize. I couldn't help but snort coldly. He actually still sees me as the old me, the easy pushover he could push around however he wanted. But since he came knocking on my door on his own, this is the perfect chance to take care of those assholes myself. Since Ibai is hurt that badly, as his older brother, I really should go over and give him a nice big gift, as long as he's not completely crippled yet. I don't mind personally sending him straight to hell. After I hung up the phone, I looked over at Meng Zhao and told her I planned to make a trip to the hospital. She immediately tensed up and looked me over worriedly. Why are you going to a place like that for no reason? Are you hurt or feeling unwell somewhere? I shook my head and gestured that I was fine. It's just something going on with the Liu family. They're insisting I come over. Her face turned extremely cold instantly. After all, she knows very well. The Liu family has never treated me like a human being all these years. Meng Zhao spoke up coldly to warn me. Those scumbags aren't worth you wasting your time making a special trip for. I pinched the girl's soft little cheek and told her in a firm tone, I got it. I'll never let those people use me ever again. I offered to go to the hospital this time. Of course I'm going to see those clowns with my own eyes. Meng Zhao saw that my mind was made up, so she didn't try to stop me anymore. She just held my hand tightly, still worried, and said she wanted to come with me. She was always scared I'd get taken advantage of or bullied. In her eyes, the people from the Liu family are just a bunch of vicious, bloodthirsty beasts. She was terrified I'd fall right into the wolf's den. But very soon,
I'll show Zhao Zhao with my actions.
that all these worries are totally unnecessary. I'm not someone you can mess with anymore. When this imposing black Bentley passed by a beautifully decorated flower shop, I gestured for the driver to pull over, then got out of the car alone. As soon as the shop owner saw a customer come in, she immediately came over to greet me warmly. "Who are you buying flowers for, handsome?" "Want me to give you some professional recommendations?" I replied in a flat tone. "It's not for anyone special. I'm just going to the hospital to visit an annoying patient. Then get a bouquet of lilies. They're the most suitable flowers for hospital visits." The shop owner pointed enthusiastically next to her at the pile of pure white lilies. I didn't even glance at those lilies at all. I searched around the shop carefully, and finally, in an inconspicuous dark corner, found the exact flowers I wanted most. I randomly grabbed a bouquet of bright, fully bloomed white chrysanthemums. I waved it in front of Meng Jiao. "Look, Jiao Jiao, what do you think of the flowers I picked for Lu Yibai?" The shop owner froze on the spot immediately and warned me in shock, "Sir, these flowers are usually for the deceased, you know. It's really bad luck to give these to a living person." A cold smirk tugged at the corner of my mouth. Bad luck is exactly what I'm going for. The worse the luck, the more perfect it is for a scumbag like him. The shop owner was totally dumbfounded by my move. While the shop owner was busy wrapping the chrysanthemums, she glanced at the elegant, wealthy woman standing next to me, thinking to herself that this man was indeed really handsome, but his way of thinking was so weird. The girl, on the other hand, looked so pure and innocent and seemed really naive. Thinking of this, the shop owner whispered quietly to Meng Jiao, "Miss, we have lots of other really beautiful flowers in the shop too. Guys don't get flowers that often, right? If you give him some, he'll definitely be super happy." The shop owner glanced at my back, then looked back at Meng Jiao and gave her a meaningful smile. Meng Jiao suddenly turned her head very seriously and asked in an earnest tone, "So in your opinion, lovers always give each other flowers?" The shop owner joked with a smile. "That's of course. What young couple that's dating doesn't give each other flowers? How can it be romantic if you don't give flowers?" Meng Jiao didn't pay any attention to the shop owner's weird look at all. She suddenly hugged me tight and said, "Ah Chen, you still haven't given me any flowers yet, you know." The shop owner stood there completely stunned. I was also totally caught off guard by her sudden coquetry and didn't know how to react for a second. I looked at this incredibly powerful woman with a confused face. "Are you actually being serious right now?" When we finally left the flower shop, she looked at the big bouquet of roses in her hand. She was grinning from ear to ear, carefully placed that bouquet of red roses on the back seat, looking at how she treats it like a priceless treasure. I couldn't help laughing in my mind. She might as well get an incense burner to worship those flowers. I shook my head helplessly at the sight. I teased her with a smile. "Jiao Jiao, it's just a bouquet of flowers, nothing more. How come you're so happy you look all silly?" Meng Jiao coughed softly, looking a little awkward, forced down the smile on the corner of her mouth. I called her out right on the spot. "Jiao Jiao, the tips of your ears are totally red." Looking at her innocent and shy look right now, she's so freaking cute. Meng Jiao was speechless for a moment. I sat lazily in the passenger seat, just caught a glimpse of her delicate, perfect side profile. Today is the perfect chance to flirt with her. My restless hand started making little naughty moves, placed itself right on the woman's thigh. My fingertips even intentionally brushed lightly against it. Meng Jiao's hand on the steering wheel clenched hard suddenly. I sighed casually, looking totally unbothered. "The texture here is really nice, honestly. Way better than anything I've touched before." Meng Jiao grabbed me, the hand that was messing around on her leg. Her tone turned cold immediately. There was even a strong hint of jealousy in it. "Which random woman felt this good, that you keep thinking about her so much?" I went, "Huh?" in total confusion. "Jiao Jiao, don't get the wrong idea. I meant yours. The fabric of your dress feels really nice. It's super smooth to the touch." Meng Jiao's grip on my hand obviously paused for a second. Her whole body went a little stiff. "Oh, okay then." I purposely put on a curious look. If it's not the dress, what else could it be? "Jiao Jiao, what did you think I was talking about just now?" Meng Jiao took a deep breath. I thought you were talking about the dress too." I nodded along unenthusiastically, playing along. But my hand boldly went back to rest on her thigh again. We arrived at the hospital while we were talking. Right now Lu Yibai was lying disheveled on the hospital bed, Both his legs were wrapped completely in bandages. Shangwan and Lu Che were hovering over him, fussing over him. As soon as Lu Yibai saw his mom, he started wailing loudly. "Mom!" This is all that loser Lin Chen's fault. He did it on purpose. He wanted to kill me. While he was yelling at the top of his lungs, he slammed the water glass on the table hard onto the floor. You have no idea how vicious and cruel the look he gave me was. Shangwan immediately comforted Yibai with a heartbroken look. "Don't get so upset you make yourself sick, honey. We don't need to waste our energy getting mad at trash like him. When Lin Chen gets here later, I'm gonna make him kneel right here on the spot and kowtow to apologize to you." Shangwan carefully pulled out a bank card and stuffed it into her son Yibai's hand. "This is 1 million yuan I got from your dad. Spend it however you want, no worries." When he heard the amount was 1 million yuan, Lu Yibai's expression finally softened a little, but that vicious look in his eyes still didn't fade. Lu Yibai complained to Shangwan, bitterly full of jealousy. "Mom! Why does Lin Chen have such good luck? The third miss actually has a thing for him? She even let him move into Banshan Villa. That hick Lin Chen doesn't deserve to stay by the third miss's side at all. That fancy position should have been mine in the first place." Shangwan quickly comforted her precious son. "Don't worry, Yibai. Mom will definitely make that guy spit out all the wealth and privilege that belongs to you. Trash like him doesn't deserve any of this. He's only fit to be a servant for the Lu family his whole life." I pushed the door open straight away and let out a cold laugh. "Oh really? So in Madame Lu's mind, I've always just been a servant." Shangwan was in the middle of ranting excitedly. She looked up abruptly, saw the stunning woman in blue dragon outfit following behind me. She was scared out of her wits and immediately shut up. On her old face, she forced an extremely awkward fake smile. Achen, you're finally here. Come sit over here quickly." She looked at Meng Jiao nervously and respectfully. "Third miss, please have a seat too." I immediately put on a shocked, disbelieving look. "I had no idea that in your heart, you've always seen me as nothing but a servant. Hearing you say that, it makes me really sad." Shangwan flinched and tucked her neck in, terrified. She stammered out an explanation submissively. "Chen, you're overthinking this. I've always treated you like my own son. I love you so much. You're no different from Yibai at all." "Oh, is that so? I knew it. Madame Lu, you must be the fairest person in the whole world." Shangwan saw how easily I fell for her lie and quietly let out a sigh of relief. I stared sharply at the bank card on the table. I asked back, pretending to be curious, "Since you treat me like your own son, then why is it that Yibai has 1 million yuan but I don't?" I looked at them with eyes full of grievance. "Is all the doting you've kept talking about all these years just a bunch of lies made to trick me?" A flicker of disdain crossed Shangwan's eyes at my words. She rubbed her hands awkwardly, face full of embarrassment. "How could Mom lie to you, Chen? I'll hold this card for a little while and give it to you personally later, okay?" I couldn't help sneering in my mind. "Looks like you're dead set on not giving it to me. Even if you don't treat me as your own kid, it's fine anyway. I've long gotten used to it." I lowered my head dejectedly. Meng Jiao behind me was emanating a colder and colder aura. The gaze she shot at Shangwan was terrifyingly cold. When Lu Yibai saw this, he quickly gripped the bank card tightly in his hand. "Let go, Yibai." Shangwan was creeped out by Meng Jiao's stare. She bit the bullet and snatched the bank card from Lu Yibai's hand and held it out in front of me. "I really don't play favorites, Chen. I just wanted to use it for Yibai first since he's so sick. Since you want it right now, I'll give it to you first." I'm so sick of this cheap acting stunt. Every time we're around outsiders, she always puts on that fake act of a loving mother and filial son. But as soon as we get back to the Lu family and close the doors behind us, she never treats me like a real living person at all. "Go on, take it." I reached out directly and took the thin bank card with a blank expression. "That's so ridiculous." She kept saying it's for me, but her fingers were still pinching the card corner tight, refusing to let go. Damn it. Her eyes were practically burning a hole through the card. "Thanks so much for your generosity, Mrs. Lu." I stuffed the card into my pocket right in front of her. This 1 million yuan is enough to make the Lu family hurt for quite a while. I just wanted to see Shangwan and Lu Yibai wear that look like they just ate a fly and can't spit it out, all frustrated and miserable. Sure enough, Lu Yibai was lying on the hospital bed shaking with rage, his fingers clutching the quilt corner tightly. I casually picked up the examination report next to me. What a shame. They got him to the hospital too fast. He didn't even end up permanently disabled. Looking at the words minor injury on the report, I couldn't help feeling a wave of disappointment. He really got off way too easy. Oh my, how serious is Yibai's injury anyway? Does he need to stay in bed for the rest of his life? I deliberately leaned closer, pretending to be concerned. Liu Yibai's face instantly turned beet red. He never would have thought that I, the culprit, would have the nerve to come over and ask after his well-being. This was obviously rubbing salt into his wound. I was clearly trying to piss him off to death. He was thinking at that moment, as soon as Meng Jiao leaves, I'll use every means possible to make that idiot Ling Chen beg for a living and get nowhere, and beg for death in vain.